Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Word Wednesday. This is Geoffrey Nance here. I'm glad to be with you guys. Wanted to share a little bit about this year. Talk just briefly a little bit about last year, what made last year what it was, what made this year what it will be. So you're not just simply who you have been; you are who you are becoming. So when I think back to last year. I'm here. I am in February. I'm out on a cruise. In March, I'm on a family ski trip, and then we get back from that family ski trip, and everything changes with school and just the whole thing. Like everything changed there, um, and then most of us look back and we're like, man, 2020 was a crazy year, right? And to some degree, it certainly was. Most people look at 2021 and they have a very optimistic outlook. Oh, 2021 is going to be better. But we would have said the same thing in 2020, right? And so really for me, I look back and go, man, it was a kind of a wild year, and I felt like maybe it wasn't a great year, but as I kind of think through it, I'm like, well, what made it bad? Like, why did a lot of people look at 2020 and go, well, I don't want to do 2020 again? Um, and really, I think it comes down to how did you perceive the events that were around you? So my oldest son is colorblind, and he obviously can't see certain things a certain way. So certain colors do not appear to him like they would appear to us. In fact, they appear very, very differently to him than they do to us. And as we get ready to really start to just move forward with 2021, I wanted to talk specifically to you guys about um, what that could look like and why it would be similar and why it would be different. And I wanted to read a passage to you here in Luke, and then we'll tie it in. It's Luke 21 here, but it talks about what we're able to see, right? So it says, he told them this parable: look at the fig tree and all the trees. When they sprout leaves, you can see for yourselves and know that summer is near. Even so, when you see these things happening, you know that the kingdom of God is near. And in another passage, he talks about we can look at the clouds and know that it's going to rain. So there are certain things that we can see through our lens, through our eyes, and then we assume, okay, then this thing is going to happen. So a fig tree starts to bear leaves. Okay, so then it's just a matter of time before that tree ought to bear fruit. We see clouds in the sky. We go, oh, those look dark. Those are kind of ominous. Oh, it's probably a storm is coming. When my son, who's colorblind, he sees certain things, but he has to compare them to other colors. So in other words, he can see blue very clearly, and so he tends to gravitate towards blue. His wardrobe is blue, blue on blue on blue. Um, and then like some blacks and stuff, but he really struggles with certain colors, browns and yellows and reds and greens and things like that. So I think, guys, that there's a message here for us as traders, and really as we kind of look at life. The way that we perceive life and the way that we perceive things is often viewed through a lens. So as you enter into 2021, I would really encourage you to ask yourself, well, what is the lens through which I am viewing life? How do I see things? In particular, when it comes to TRADEway, how do I view this trading year? So 2021, what would that look like for me as a trader? So what are some of the things that I could see, like leaves on a fig tree or clouds that would bring a storm? What are some things that I could see that might make 2021 different for me than for someone else who maybe doesn't have much education at all in the stock market or how it works? Well, let's start out with a really obvious observation here, okay? So one, we do not know what is going to happen in the world, right? We do not know that. Now, we use all these really big words for God. All right, one of those words is omniscient, which means he's all knowing. So he has unlimited knowledge, right? So God is all knowing. There's nothing that God doesn't know, but we are finite creatures and there are things that we don't know. We do not know what 2021 is going to look like. So going full circle, we think, like we hope, right, that 2021 will be better, that in some ways it'll be more fruitful for us, that hopefully there'll be less restrictions and we'll be able to go about, we'll be able to make some changes and all this stuff. But when it comes to the market, if you have been trading, what is it in the past that you have done that you would say, okay, this didn't really produce the results that I wanted to see? Because you guys know, right, that those that cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So if we don't know our past and we don't make changes to what we did in the past, then it would make sense that we would repeat those same mistakes in the future. So if we do the same thing over and over again and we're expecting different results, you know what they call that. Okay. So why would we do those things? Okay. So one, we have to know our history, right? We have to know our history. And when it comes to us trading, we have to know our personal history, because I bring my baggage with me. So the Lord says that we're supposed to lay our burdens down at his feet because his burden is easy, right? And it's light. But we have a tendency to kind of carry these things with us, and the type of trades that we've made, the experiences that we've had, we carry those things with us into each subsequent trade. Now, realize that the trade that you just made has literally nothing to do with the trade that you're about to make, outside of you being a part of it in the way that you're thinking through that trade. But really, what you did in the previous trade should have no impact on what you're going to do with this trade. What you did last year, the results last year, have nothing really to do with what your results are going to be this year, unless, okay, we can look at those things and say in a very positive light, okay, here are some lessons that I have learned. Because certainly we should be looking at things and saying, okay, when I see this, I would expect this to occur. I mean, TRADEway is a system that is built upon patterns, right? So if I were to tell you that there's a stoplight and it goes, green, yellow, red, green, yellow, red, green, yellow, red, the reason that we're not constantly just bashing into each other all over the highway is because everybody that drives understands those patterns. So green means go, red means stop, and yellow is a question mark. It's supposed to mean slow down, right? Depending on how many stoplights I've hit and how much of a hurry I feel like, it may mean speed up. Okay. But I know that red is coming. See, green is go, yellow, slow down. Ooh, maybe speed up, but get through the light, right? So green, go, yellow, slow down or get through it, red, stop. And everybody understands this. And that creates a pattern that is predictable, repeatable, and reliable. So what if we could apply similar concepts to our individual trading? Well, what I want you guys to realize is, look, the stoplight is green, yellow, red. Okay. So if you were to get into a wreck because somebody ran a red light, would it then impact the way that you looked at every green light that you ever come to for the rest of your life? I mean, would you slow down and look both ways before you went through a green light because one time somebody ran a red light and hit you? I suspect the answer would be no. Like maybe initially, right, there's a little bit of, oh, I'm going to check real quick, make sure nobody's going to hit me. But that occurrence is actually pretty rare. Okay. Why? Because people understand red means stop. So they're supposed to stop. You're supposed to go. Therefore, we don't have wrecks, okay, at stoplights because of the system that's been in place. So if that is the case, right, and it works for us when we're out there driving, then we should understand that similar things ought to apply with my trading. So if I've been struggling, one of the things I need to probably really focus on is saying, what am I missing? Maybe in a very basic manner. Am I missing something as simple as, hey, I need to be going because this stock is flashing a go signal. Like it is time for me to go. I need to hit the button. I need to get in this trade. Is there something about this play that says, you know what, that was really more of a yellow signal? Like I knew it was a bad buy point, but I kind of was just wanting to trade and I got into trade anyway. And so it didn't really work the way that I wanted it to, but I kind of get it. Or were there some red lights there where you should have never been in that play in the first place? You got in anyway, and then you had a bad experience. Well, that's not simply a stock market issue. That's more of a personal issue. Just saying, look, I need to more properly understand the signs. Okay. So if I see the clouds and they say that rain is coming, it doesn't mean that I can't go outside, but I should put on a jacket or grab an umbrella. Okay. If I see the leaves forming on a tree, I would anticipate that that tree is going to bear fruit. It doesn't mean I'm ready to eat it right now, but in time, okay, there may be something there. So one of the things I really want to encourage you guys today to do as you move forward is to take last year and any previous years that you've been trading and to say, all right, so what are some things that I have done that had a very positive outcome? Great. Write those things down. Take note of those things. What are some things that I have done where I would like to make some real positive changes this year? Because it's not merely enough to say, I would like to do something different. You have to have an actual plan to do something different. So if you're going to get different results, you have to go down a different path. You have to do something different. If you don't know what that positive difference would be, then you're going to need to go somewhere to get the appropriate help. So we at TRADEway would like to think that we can provide that for you. And we have numerous opportunities for you to do that at various levels, right? So we have this education that's kind of like elementary, middle school, high school, you know, college, grad school plus. So we have a lot of different ways for you to get involved and take your trading to the next level. So I would encourage you guys, one, to have an optimistic outlook on this year, regardless of what the market does, because you can attain skill sets where you can make money if the market goes up, down, or sideways. So just this week, the market has been relatively flat, and yet there have been a number of stocks that have made some very good anticipated moves. So either they were making flags and they moved up very nicely off of the moving averages like they were supposed to. There were some other advanced patterns that did exactly what they were supposed to. And then there have been some other stocks that were kind of floating, but we've seen stocks go down that were in patterns where they were expected to move down. We've seen stocks go up very, very nicely that were supposed to be going up based on their pattern. And then we've seen some stocks that have gone relatively flat as the market has. So as an individual, what we want you to do is to be able to accurately assess what you were seeing. So I'll go back to my son. I want him to be able to see, hey, that's green. Hey, that's red. That's brown. But he has trouble doing that. So what he has to do is he has to get some help, and then he has to compare them to other things. So quite literally, back when he was in elementary school, he would go to the colors that he recognized, and then he would compare them to one another until he could finally get to the right color. So if he was supposed to color something red or whatever, he had to work from blue down to red or whatever. So he could do it, but he had to make some adjustments. And I really want to encourage you guys, okay? You can do this. You have knowledge and skill sets that most people don't have. The real question is, how am I applying the knowledge that I have, and what are the changes that I personally need to make in order to have a positive atmosphere? So I see James is saying I would really need a positive atmosphere. Well, you need to surround yourself with people that understand that trading can be hard. Okay. You need to be involved in a community where people are encouraging you. You need to be around teachers that can help you and give you assistance when that's needed. And then ultimately, I think some of you guys need to make things simpler. There are certain types of patterns that are supposed to do very certain things. Stopping out is a key to your trading. No matter how good you are going to have expenses. Every business has expenses. So it's not about whether or not you'll have an expense, it's whether or not you're going to keep it small. So one of TRADEway's big mantras is win big, lose little. Okay, both of those are important. Okay, losing little is every bit as important as winning big. So if you get focused only on winning big, you'll miss something very important, which is lose little. How can I lose little? We'll get proper buy points. How can I know that I'm at proper buy points? Well, become more proficient at drawing lines, understanding patterns and how they're moving within the exponential moving averages, within the pattern itself based on support and resistance. Then there are certain patterns like a flag pattern. It's pretty clear to see, pretty easy to spot, but then it does very certain things at very certain times. So if you don't see those things, then you can make it easier on yourself, because one of the things that I've found is that people that tend to struggle and take bigger expenses do so because they're not really sure what they're seeing. Okay. And imagine the mess that it would be if all of a sudden our stoplights just started doing pink and brown and red and purple and yellow and orange. What a mess that would be. People would be sitting out there going, I don't know, I'm supposed to go. Are you supposed to go? Wait, are they going? It'd be a mess, right? And our trading will likely be a mess too if we feel like that's the signals that we're getting. Like we're out there going, I don't know, I don't see the grain. I don't see the go signal. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. Well, how could we expect to get the results that we want to see if we're unsure of what it is that we're supposed to be seeing in the first place? So I really want to encourage you guys as you move forward in 2021 to understand the value in simplicity, that you can do really well with some very basic plays, but you still have to understand movement and you have to be willing to stop out. And then I would say that you need to find a positive, encouraging environment and continue to learn and grow. All of us are learning, all of us are growing. None of us are all knowing, which means we get to learn and grow together. And I think that's a very positive thing. So as you move forward, I want you to ask yourself, what do I need to do this year to begin to make the changes that I need to see so that I can begin to see the results that I want to see? What does that look like? Very practically, what does that look like? Is that an educational issue? Is it a movement issue, meaning I need to act, right? I need to act accordingly to my sell points, to my stop outs. Is it simply a matter of saying, look, I need to learn from my past. I need to stop making the same mistakes that I have consistently made. Like I'm not going to get the results I want unless I do something differently. So it's really a commitment to saying, I'm going to do something differently and understanding what that difference is. So as you think through those things, I really want those to kind of be a foundational principle, if you will, for you guys, all right, to build off of, because we have lots of opportunities, right? We can revisit this, 11 months from now, kind of see what 2021 looks like. But here's what I know, okay? And when we go look at that market, it's gonna make sense. Maybe not every day, because that won't be the case, right? But many days, we're gonna go look at stocks and we're gonna be like, that stock did what you would have expected to do. Look at that flag. Look at that rolling stock. Look at that uptrend. Look at that move up off of that 10-day. Look at the move off the 20-day, the 50-day. Look at that move off resistance. We're going to be able to see those things consistently. And I think what many of you guys desire is to see consistency in your trading. So if that's an area where you say, you know what, I do well, sometimes I do really well, sometimes I struggle a lot. All right, well, what can we do together in 2021 to see consistent results? Like we look at the leaves, we say, look, a tree is about to bud and bear fruit. We look at clouds and say, it's going to rain. What can you do personally with your trading this year where you can start to look at it and say, here's what I'm seeing and here's what I expect the results to be as a result of what I am doing and what I have applied. All right. So that's your word for today, guys. Appreciate you guys being with us. Thanks for being a part of TRADEway. And if you have any additional questions, let us know. Contact us support@tradeway.com, and we would be thrilled to help you see what the next step looks like. And we're excited to be on this journey with you.